Okay, now did you get nervous?
No, I'm not nervous.
Why aren't you nervous? I'm nervous.
Oh, I'm not nervous.
She's not nervous. Are you nervous?
No, I'm never nervous.
Not nervous? I'm the only one that's nervous here. Okay, well, then I'm going to introduce myself. I am Rob Appell from Making It Fun, Michael Miller Fabrics, and I am on Camano?
Camano.
Camano.
Yeah.
I do this wrong each
Close.
time. Island in a beautiful location with the ladies from Over the Rainbow Quilt Shop, but right now we are over the lodge. This is Laura.
Hello.
Laura.
Hello.
And her daughter Mandy.
Hi.
And I'm supposed to have questions ready as soon as I do that, but I didn't. So, because we've been playing, we started with lunch. Let's just tell the story of a family that works together and quilts together. Tell me a little bit about your property, your dream. What are you doing here? So this is officially entitled Rainbow Lodge.
Yep. The Rainbow Lodge.
And this is the other half of Over the Rainbow Quilt Shop, which is their amazing retreat center.
They can either sew upstairs or they can sew downstairs in the sewing. There's a sewing arena downstairs.
And we're celebrating a birthday.
Yeah. So fairy room.
We have a fairy room? Michael Miller gets a room at the
Michael Miller.
Rainbow Lodge? I didn't realize we had our own. Whoa, purple, delicious.
Yeah, this is the fairy room using one of the
Wow.
Mary Barker and Fairy Frost on the
Whoa.
pillows. So, yeah.
This is a great way of utilizing the large scale prints.
We run an online, it started as an online shop and then morphed into a online and brick and mortar. So we are open 3 hours a day in the morning, and then we are open 24 hours a day for our online shop.
The internet's great that way, huh?
It is great. Yes, it is. The hours for the walk-in ladies are from 9 to 12. And then we do our internet business on either side of that. So we sell on 2 websites, Amazon and eBay. So we sell on 4 different platforms. And then in addition to I call them our flat white customers for the paper customers, and then our 2-legged customers are the walk-in customers. So
now she said 2-legged customers over the phone to me, and I assumed because you live on a farm, you meant that the animals would be wandering in and out when she mentioned 2-legged. So Mandy, tell me a little bit about the farm that Mom lives on over here.
You know, I am not an animal person, so I'm probably the worst one to ask.
Notice how I mentioned Mandy does not live on the farm.
No, I do not live on the farm. I have no animals. I have 2 kids, and that's enough.
she's about 5, I don't know, 3 weeks old maybe.
You have to hold her?
Sure.
You have to hold, keep her secured?
Yeah, she'll, if you don't, she'll fly up. Yeah. So it's good.
Can she fly yet?
Well, she
should try.
She would try, yeah.
Yeah, so there is a farm, and oftentimes all of us girls that work at the shop are called out to go and rally animals back in. Alpacas have escaped, the goats have escaped, sometimes the peacocks are on the loose. There's all sorts of things.
In the upper rafter that we had to get down.
Yep.
One time at Quilt Market, a porcupine attacked our guardian dogs, and all the staff had to go in with the previously untouchable guardian dogs and pry the quills out of the mouth. That was not fun for them.
There's hazard pay included in a day like that?
Well, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Some free fabric.
How about those little chocolate goodie things from the bakery down the road? Could you bribe staff members with that?
Yeah, probably.
I think so. We tried those at the bakery. So check out the bakery if you're here. Now, the other thing I was really impressed with, and this is just kind of how ignorant or goofy Rob Appell is I heard we were going to go look at a quilt shop that had more fabric than space, and that it was on a private property, and it did get visitation. And so I thought I was going to go in and basically find Laura cutting a few bolts of fabric. But no, as she started introducing the employees, they just came out one after another, after another, after another. How many folks do you have working for you? With you, maybe.
Eight or nine, maybe, I think. Yeah. So.
And the newest employee
is my 7-year-old granddaughter. Yes, she came up today with a resume and said, I would like to work for you, Mimi. And so, yes, we negotiated her pay. And so now I have a 7-year-old on staff as well.
As I just drove up today, I met Mia. Mia is the newest employee at the Over the Rainbow Quilt Shop. And her job has just now been chosen to give us the grand tour of the store. Are you ready, Mia? So who, you or your daughter, is more involved in the shop at this point?
Probably Mia.
Okay.
Yeah, not me. Yeah. Definitely not me.
What is your major role at the shop, though?
I am my main. Well, I mean, I like to say that I'm a manager, but I think that I'm the only one that actually says that. So,
Right.
But I am mostly a cutter. So I am a downstairs cutter. So I am given the orders from the office staff, and then out of our 30,000 bolts of fabric, I go through and I fill whatever fabric is downstairs.
Nice.
Which is probably 15 of the, easily 15 of the 1,000 bolts down there.
And I almost said you ladies, but you also have a gentleman working for you on staff.
Yes.
Chris, did I get his name right?
His name is
I
Chris.
remember.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I
Nice.
know. Chris is awesome. Yeah.
So, but between your team, because I almost said you ladies are shipping,
know.
but it's your team now shipping a couple hundred orders a day.
Yep, just under probably 200 a day.
That's
So,
incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
All over the world, or is
All
it just
over the world.
domestic?
No, all over the world. Australia, Japan,
Yeah.
Canada, of course.
40% of the business is probably overseas, I would say.
Do you have a most odd or remote kind of address? Have you ever had like one of those addresses? You're like, we should get a
that we
photocopy
had
of that?
Yes, and we had to look it up. I can't even remember. It was in Micronesia or something. I don't know.
Right.
We had covered up in the shop, there is a map that's got rainbow thread all over.
Okay.
It's got a quilt on top of it right now. But one of the girls that used to work here was keeping a notebook, and she kept all the countries that we shipped to, and all the states, and then all the countries. Yeah, so it's exciting. It's fun.
I love this story. And you said you opened about 8 years ago?
No. I started I started in clothing design
Right.
when Mandy was 6 months old. I got my business license, and I start
So
over the
10 years
rainbows-
ago?
10
over
years
the
ago,
rainbows,
yes.
over the rain. It's our 34th anniversary, sweetheart.
35.
Yeah,
I just turned 35.
35. Oh, it's our 35th anniversary.
Thank you.
Okay.
So when she was 6 months old and I was 23, I started over the rainbow doing children's clothing, and then I added an adult clothing line, and then we did American Girl doll clothing line. In 1999, I had a customer who was picking up her fabric, or her clothing order. She was picking up a pair of leggings, Phyllis, and she said, "Oh, I bought some of that Alexander Henry fabric online."
Right.
And I'm like, "You buy fabric online?" And so she opened a whole new room and a whole
Now,
world to me.
I'm going to interrupt. This is in 1999, okay?
Right.
I can't think of many things worse than being up on dial-up internet in your home.
That's dial-up for those of you who do not know what it sounds like.
Looking up fabric. Can you imagine clicking on an image and then waiting for it to enlarge?
Well, sometimes
then
I
hitting
have
your
a
back
bladder
button?
problem, so I can just take back and forth
Yeah.
terms to the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It's just hours and
It'd be
hours.
hours of looking at like 8 pieces of material.
And then
It'd
the
be
resolution
crazy.
was 72 at the
yeah,
best.
Yeah. You wouldn't know what you'd be getting until it got shipped to you, possibly.
Right.
But-
Well, that was the benefit, I guess, of the.
So when Phyllis comes, because she still comes, even
Okay.
though she lives in
She's
a
still
long
a
way in
customer.
Grapeview,
She's
Washington,
awesome.
she comes and I say, "Ladies, you got to thank Phyllis because she was the inspiration for Over the Rainbow."
Yeah.
So-
I remember my inspiration for the concept of fabric online. Her name was Peggy. She was in Morro Bay where I lived, moved up to Alaska. Hopefully she's watching this someday. She told me two things in that same exact sentence that have always stuck with me. Every quilt needs a bit of yellow. And I don't know that I really agree with that, but most of you do, so I'm going to let you have that one. But she also told me she was searching for that perfect yellow on the internet. And I remember asking that same question is, you are shopping for the perfect yellow on the internet. How do you do it without touching it and all of that? And what we have found, is once you find a fabric that you love, you can reorder it and you can trust those manufacturers. And especially somebody like Alexander Henry, where they have a very specific look and they buy off of fabric and
How
different
about
things
Michael
like that.
Miller Cotton Couture?
Well, and I was
Nothing
building up to
feels
that.
better than Cotton Couture. So
And
we know
thank you for
that,
getting my
so-
segue in there. Yeah, and that's one of those wonderful things. And I think I've been nervous about the internet with quilting, but I also believe that it opens up a world for families like yourselves where you can live and work and fellowship as you choose, and you have a business that's also working. But when we were talking earlier, you said you probably do things different than most quilt shops, and that's partly because of your business model.
Absolutely.
And partly because your business model is based on your lifestyle.
There is no business model.
Exactly. Because it's a lifestyle model. And that's
That's the problem.
well, but see, from the outsider, that's where I get motivated because I'm the dad traveling with my kids, also looking at things like this and thinking, no, you made a business choice based on a lifestyle decision. And that's a good message, I think, to a lot of us out there. I have a dream job that I can do anywhere. So maybe I should do it somewhere where my family's more comfortable or something like that. You know, there's always fun ways of looking at this. And so let's take a moment as we're quilting, and we're always talking about how therapeutic working with our hands is, and how being creative is so important.
Well, and working with the beautiful fabrics. I mean, it's amazing just the variety of fabrics. And so we carry a wide variety of fabrics.
Oh, you had everything.
But we don't have a lot of boring, you know.
What do you find is really your specialty? Things that...
Novelty.
Novelty.
She loves
I love
novelty.
novelty
She loves
fabrics.
cats. She does a lot of cat fabric.
Well,
but it's searchable too.
I like novelty fabrics. The more unusual, the better. I mean,
right.
It's there's someone out there who's going to want that, you know, narwhal fabric or whatever. So,
right. Now I also heard, and please correct me if I am wrong, but one of your keys to your success is the newsletter that you write.
Yes.
And so that. I'm sitting here hearing all of this story kind of for the first time, and I'm thinking, if you've got specific novelty print that people maybe trust to look at over the rainbow for, and then you put out these wonderful newsletters, that probably gives a really nice supply and demand.
Yeah, I do it a couple times a week, and it features whatever's come in. It features any links that any of the mills or manufacturers are passing out, saying this is the new lines. And then I give it to the customer, say, what do you think? And get their feedback, because if they'll tell me they're going to order it, then I'll order it, and I'll trust them to do that. And then at the very end is my farm and family news, and that's where I spill all the secrets about what's going on with my family, whether they want to know it, want it to be known or not.
It's true.
Yes.
People have come into the shop and be like, start talking about something that I kind of thought was like just
originally private,
like family private business, and all of a sudden a stranger's asking me about it. I'm like, oh, like how do you know about that? Oh, the newsletter.
Right, the newsletter.
There's no such thing as a secret in this household or the shop or anything.
No.
Yeah, good times.
Wait, can I tell you the best story?
Of course, that's what we're here for.
My husband and I were recently on a cruise to Alaska. And our first night on the boat, you know, it's different. You're getting used to sounds and stuff differently. And so we go to bed, and my husband has to get up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Right.
And he's mistakenly goes out into the hallway instead of the bathroom, and bam, the door shuts.
Oh, no.
Okay. So he's locked outside.
Right.
In his underwear.
Oh, no.
And they were red.
Oh, no.
And so it's 1:30 in the morning, and he's knocking on the door. Knock, 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 knock. You know,
May I guess you're a sound sleeper?
Well, when I'm on vacation, I am.
Okay.
Because
Which had started one day earlier.
I'm away from work, and so I don't have to worry about anything. And so he's knocking, and he's knocking. And then he's like, he still has to go to the bathroom, and he's still in his underwear in the hallway. And so he's knocking louder and louder. And my husband, you didn't meet him. He's 6'5" and 300 pounds. So he's a big man. So,
right. So he just probably loves those little staterooms on the cruise ships anyway.
No, we get a bigger room.
Good. Yeah, because
so
how could you miss the
now
bathroom?
He's banging, and I'm still sound asleep. Well, finally, a woman is coming down the hall, and he sees her, and he says, ma'am, he says, he's covering himself. He says, ma'am, he says, I'm not dangerous. He said, I'm not drunk. He says, but I went out the wrong door, and I'm locked out, and could you please go call my wife and tell her to open the door? And she says, well, sure, honey, I'd be happy to do that. So 10 minutes later, he could hear the phone ringing in there. And I remember I'm sleeping, and I ring. I'm like, oh no, there's an emergency at home or something.
Right.
I get out of bed. Hello? Is this Miss Laura?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, honey, your husband's out in the hallway, and he'd like you to open the door so he could get back in. Okay, thank you. And I hang up, and I go open the door. He's like, what have you doing? Why did you open the door? So that's what does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
Family
I
story.
put it in the newsletter.
Family stories that shouldn't be told publicly, probably.
So then
He said, please don't share this.
So he gets back in bed, and I'm laughing, and he says, you can't put this in the newsletter. And I said,
We'll just put it on the
I
internet
have to
instead.
put it on the newsletter. I know I did. I put it on the next newsletter.
Did you get any photos? Did you have him go back out and stage
No,
the photos?
we were going to, but he wouldn't do that.
Of course.
So there are no secrets in our family.
secrets.
No
So
secrets
the moral
at all.
of the story is put your suitcase in front of the door
That's what we
before
do
you go to
now.
bed.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
moral of the story. The also moral is don't tell Laura your secrets.
Got it. Or they will end up in the newsletter.
They will.
And I had already heard from other folks that sometimes folks will scroll right to the story part
heard that too.
of the newsletter because that's what we do. We just keep people being
The
inspired.
newsletter
and
started
creative.
when my oldest daughter was normal functioning adult, was going through she was 8 weeks from getting her master's in education and had a series of strokes.
Correct.
And so we spent 3 months in the hospital. She was permanently disabled and had to live at home. And so in the newsletter, people would say, you know, how's Vanessa doing? Give us a feedback. And so that was when I started putting family news in the newsletter, mostly to give an update about what was happening with Vanessa.
Yeah.
And so from there, then it just kept on of keeping everybody, because everybody kind of, I feel like they're my friends and they know all my secrets. I don't know all my customers' secrets, but they do know all of our family things. So I do feel like, even though we work with a large amount of people, that it's still a one-on-one type thing as well. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and it's funny. There's so many things that you just said that I was trying to think about how to kind of wrap up our little talk. And
because I'm talking too much?
No, because I always talk too much, and I know folks like a short video.
Yes, they do.
But I was also thinking, one is that we need to mention again that you are open for business, and nowadays you're getting foot traffic, these two-legged customers in every single day as well as your internet business.
Yes.
But I was also thinking, as you're telling the fun stories and why you like to share your stories, both about the healing you were doing with your daughter in that situation, and now your husband being locked outside in the staterooms, and maybe my son and my family's visit will make your newsletter one of these days and stuff like that. It's, you know, quilting.
You already made it. You were in last night's newsletter.
That's right. That's
I
why
already mentioned you.
I was getting emails this morning saying, I hear you'll be at Over the Rainbow today. So yeah, quilting is all about community. This was a perfect example for me to be able to spend a moment with a couple of new friends that treated me like family, brought me and the kids in, brought me to their property, let me show you this beautiful view and everything, just so that we can share with you more of what's going on. Yeah, I love making quilt projects and teaching all of you, and yeah, we have tutorials coming out all the time, but this is what I really want to do with these cameras in my time right now, is just continually bring together the community of quilt makers, introduce you to some of my new friends, meet some of your new friends. So let us know what you think. Please visit Over the Rainbow, whether you're online, whether you're coming over to Camano Island. Did I get it right?
Camano.
Golly! Ladies, thanks again for having me
Thank you.
over the Rainbow. You're awesome. Adios, amigos. Oh my gosh. What do you have?
Who wants an apple?
I got an apple. I got to eat mine.
Oh, good.
Look at that. Blackberries. I'm glad to see you're still there. Hey, if you insist on spending all day on YouTube, great with me. Please check out a few of my other videos. I think they're fantastic. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified. We'll see you next time for another helping of fun.